Elon Musk. Yes, the rich guy who is trying to start an expansionary conflict with the lizard people on Mars likes to threaten to buy things. Is threaten the right word? Yes, threaten to buy things. News sites, social media, payment processors. He is soon to own Green Iceland's icy Greenland neighbor, and is in talks with Governor Truelander to become the shadow president of the 14th Kanokistani province. More relevantly, his eyes are on Hasbro. If you don't know what has been up to, they used to make toys aimed at children's, but far more importantly, they own Gary Gygax's masterpiece, Dungeons and Dragons. D&D is in a special place right now, a special ed place. It is more widely played by the sorts of people who would have hated the people who were playing it 20 years ago than ever before, and looks like a mobile game made by that part of the HR department that does them slides on how the corporation is your family, and is the reason a third of your development plan is devoted to environmental social justice, where you gotta watch videos about how to talk to someone in a wheelchair. You'll notice they never explicitly tell you not to commandeer it and use it to race around the office. The orcs are now green elves, the goblins are green hobbits, the Durgar are just grey dwarves, tieflings are horny humans, werewolves are hairy horny humans, monitors are hairy horny heavy humans, and the drow are now elves that live underground, but not evil or slavers, which means they're just purple elves. And Wizards of the Coast hates half-breeds and killed them all off. Evil races are now morally grey. Good races are now morally grey. And we're one step away from werewolves and mind flayers getting breeding mechanics. Yes, no longer is the main target of D&D the bullied nerds and outcasts. As high-ranking employees of the company love to remind us, they don't want the game to be for the audience that stuck with it for decades. The target now is white women with 10-page long trigger lists who got that dog in them, if you know you know, that if you ever run afoul of, they will call your work to get you fired. And Elon Musk is not going to be buying this company. Yes, funny as it would be to ponder it, it's just not going to happen. This is another thing that just gets tossed out there for people to freak out about as if it's generally going to happen. But if he did, would he be able to save it? If he at least started bringing back the guys who drew 80s and 90s fantasy art and got rid of the modern D&D design by committee staff that makes once terrifying or rugged monstrous humanoids look like they're city slickers going on a guided tour more than 20 miles from their house, the monster manuals would go back to being worth it just for the art. And at least D&D would stop putting AI in all their art books. Actually, in all fairness, that's one thing he probably wouldn't change. What the elongated muskrat, as his detractors like to call him as they fantasize about murdering him, funny woke shenanigans, is starting an AI game studio. That certainly would be much easier to pull off, and from his Diablo antics, he is at least a gamer. Currently, people are brushing it off because he doesn't seem serious, but people need to reconsider. This is the guy that is going to fake the moon landing on Mars. Potentially the first time in human history, since the Great Flood, we have put someone on a planet that is not Earth. Setting up a zero-gravity studio in Nevada, though, is not the same skill set as running a successful game studio. However, Elon Musk definitely has the money and the drive to undertake a side project. And even if this ends up as a disaster, we all have complete confidence he can equally compete with the current industry and absolutely run a failing, expensive video game studio in a market that is oversaturated with failing, expensive video game studios. But, to be a little more serious for a moment, keep in mind how many industry vets have been displaced by blacklisting, the activist-led witch hunts, DEI policies, some of the most talented developers in history, the ones who developed all the franchises that were amazing a decade or two ago but are being ruined now, many of which would be very happy to join Elon Musk's studio. That is one of the few places sheltered from the Inquisition. Combine these people in a studio that wants to make games, and you could have a deadly contender even without reliance on AI. Truth be told, if you gave all the creatives who were pushed out of movies, TV, comic books, and games in the last 15 or so years a place where they just have room to be creative, you could get an instant entertainment renaissance unlike anything we've ever seen, or at least since the last Renaissance. What you should be worried about, if you hate artificial intelligence, is the possibility that it doesn't fail. For everyone clowning on this, just keep in mind what this will mean for the industry if it actually takes off. Let's not forget, Bitcoin used to be memed on harder than Johnny Salami. and that companies only gave up on NFTs because it constantly failed for several years in a row. Gaming corporations really tried, but found out that gamers are amazingly stubborn when we want to be. Hey, Wokies, how many Concords is it going to take before you figure that one out? Oh, you're not convinced yet? Good. Keep tossing your cash in the fire. Artificial intelligence is the future, the immediate future, like it or not. It will take 1,000 artificial intelligence failures for game companies to finally give up on it. However, while it may take 1,000 AI failures for companies to give up, it will only take one success for them to go all in. It only takes one AI game at the level of Fortnite to trigger the next video game's gold rush. Let that sink in.